Okay, so when me and Astrid were out in the woods, a funny thing happened. Got a letter. The letter said, your package is ready. $60 they wanted. That's the sales tax in Sweden. For a package that cost us $200. Ridiculous. They took a whole $12 just so that it sent me a letter that said that they're taking the taxes. But here's the package. This is what it looks like. Do-it-yourself gear supply. Send it to us. $200 worth of goodies. This is going to make 4 underquilts. With all the taxes and the shipping and everything, I think I worked it out to $90 for every underquilt. Which is a deal. You know it's not made of down. It's going to be made out of Insultex. So we'll see what we got in our package. We can get it open. Oh, here we go. 3 meters of ripstop 1.9. There's Sophia getting the sewing machine ready, the thread injector. We're going to make an underquilt today, according to DIY Gear Supplies instructions. All the stuff is from them. Shipped to Sweden, cost an arm and a leg. I think I worked it out to $90 per underquilt, all told. Not bad, a little expensive, but we don't got a choice here in Sweden. If I was going to get 4 crow's nests, it would have cost me $1,000 plus shipping. So
and tax.
And tax on that. So, all right. We're gonna measure 2 pieces here out of this. The top and the inner and the outer shell. Decided on an inner shell because we've got kids and we want the stuff to last. We're gonna do all this work. We might as well make it work. Make it real nice. Quality, last a long time. Sophia's a whiz at sewing. She's got some good skills.
Whiz and whiz.
So we're gonna. I haven't seen a film yet on how to make one of Scott's hammocks, Scott's underquilts. So I thought we'd make one and show you how it's done. This is our first one. We haven't made one of these yet, so see how it goes. We're gonna make 4 of them. Mine will be last, so it'll be the best. And we'll get this one's Oliver's, so if it gets screwed up, it won't matter.
He'll grow out of it.
Yeah, the plan is it's gonna be a 5-footer. It's maybe a little 4.5. He's only 4 feet tall, so it'll be a full one for him. We're only 5.5 feet tall, so it'll cover almost the whole thing. We're short people. Alright, we'll see where it goes when we start cutting. Here's the pattern we had to use the pattern from DIY Gear Supply and had to redo it in metrics. So we don't have any rulers with inches on them. It's going to work out pretty good, I hope. Okay, final stages of cutting our Insultex. Works good. Big old table, kind of important. 4 hands is kind of important. Measure twice, cut once, very important.
And use the patterns of whatever it is you're cutting to make sure you get it straight.
And see, it's got a nice pattern in it, so it's easy to use that as a reference point for a dotted line. And this is the last cut we have to make, and then we have all our fabric for the first one all laid out. Very good. And you have good fabric scissors. Slide right through, hopefully. It's worked so far.
And an even cut, so you don't get all the little nicks.
Little tip we thought of. Make sure you write down how big all your pieces are. You're going to be pretty pissed off at yourself if you forget which one's which. Okay.
This piece is the middle Insultex, and we're about to do the little kinks now that are going to be 10 centimeters wide. So what I've done to get the middle is just fold it and measure 5 in and put a pin in it. Basically. Handy dandy pin holder made out of scrap fabrics. Very nice to have around. And then make a nice little slanted angle to not get a...
How big do you think it?
I'm thinking about 25 for this because that looks good. and it won't be too short or too long. 25 is good. So we can add that to our little. I'll just put a pin right there where I want the seam to come out.
And then you sew it or cut it, doesn't it?
I sew it and then I fold the pieces.
And then after, you could cut those pieces out.
No, because that will make the fabric unstable. Much better to leave them in there and just flatten them down.
Okay,
So
let's see how it works.
you just aim up your needle with the mark you made with a pin in that corner, and you put the fabric straight so that you just let it slide all the way down to here, straight and nice and neat. And the first couple of stitches, always hold the threads and go for it. And now my pin is in the way. If you want to do adjustments, leave the needle in, lift the foot up, and take the needle out. So now that I'm in the right spot, I don't need it anymore. And like that. Pin away. And then sort of just gently guide the fabric towards your other pin. And then just sew straight out. And there you have it. And the next step would be, once you put it out flat, you flatten this piece out. You find the middle here. And you just flatten it out. So when it's time for the next seam, on the shorten later, you have a nice piece of flat fabric to sew over, and you don't have to cut and ruin the sturdiness of the fabric.
The first two went off without a hitch because they were folded in half. Now we get the funny one. We got to put two triangles in there.
And the first triangle is going to sit 30 from the edge, so all I do is make the fold at 30 instead of the middle.
That wasn't that hard. I thought it was going to be harder than that.
Well, you still have to fix that down for me. And we'll do the same thing, measure in how long that little clip is going to be. They were going to be 10 each, right? 5 each?
I think so. It's 7.5 maybe?
So this is the bottom part all prepped for doing the little corners. So we folded into 30 from both sides and measured out our little triangle and how deep we want it. And now it's basically just sew the straight lines on all 4 corners. And then it's ready to be attached to the rest. So this is the fold in 30 of the bottom part. And you see the same thing, the sides are lined up, and 3.75 will be a half of 7.5. I put my pin in. Alright, so here's the under or bottom part laid up and prepped the same way that we did with Insultex for the little squares and or triangles in the corners. So now it's all sewing. Alright.
Okay.
So just to make this nice and neat and no bunches for later, I'm going to fold the blue fabric to one side and put the insulations triangle fabric towards the other side, and I line up the 2 seams, that way they end up middle in front of each other, so it sort of looks like this. Here's the seam, there it's lined up, this one goes to that side and that one goes to this side. And I'm just going to put a pin there to keep it in place. And the seam will be my guideline.
Okay, if you look at it, it's not completely flat. And I'm thinking that's just a positive. Because there's more air. When you crunch it all together, it doesn't work as well, according to what I've heard. So if it's a little scrunchy high, in bits
2 centimeters
and places,
looseness.
it should still work. Because it's not, I think the Insultex is a little bit wider than what the nylon is, but we'll see how it goes. I think this will work. Like I said. What's the worst that can happen? We have to pull all the things apart when it's done because it's cold.
So to this.
Okay, now we're putting all our layers together. We're putting it backwards because we're going to turn it inside out. And I'm a little nervous about how uneven everything is. It's all kind of wiggly and bubbly, but I think it'll be all right in the end. It's supposed to be that way. It's like
Wiggly and bubbly and lots of air inside it, yes.
That's the point.
That's why you made these folds too, to help it.
It'll all be pretty when it's done. I'm a little nervous, but and then all the edges that are, if any of these edges are uneven, like those on there, we'll just fold everything in real nicey nice. We got one more layer to go. And then let's just sew the bad boy together and turn it inside out.
No. Got one more layer to put in place, and then we're going to put the
Girl screen. Yes.
cords of the kind between the two blue ones here. Right here it's going to go.
Okay, and then we should try to, maybe we should put the shot cord in there. No, not right
No,
away.
because we don't want to happen to sew onto it.
Okay.
It's not worth that. The chair's in and pin it.
Okay, here you go. Now we're putting the growth screen here.
Right. Here's the middle part. That's that line. Can you zoom out or so you can see all of it? So this is what I'm going to do now. This is all inside out. As you can see, since the Insultex is on the outside. I got the middle layer there. Got the bottom layer. I did it inside out. And the bottom part, which is the blue one that goes together. Then I've got the next blue part and the last fabric cotton there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop or fold this in the middle. I'll show you what I mean.